Hey folks, how you doing? Konbanwa, konnichiwa, os, etc. Okay, I got some questions in my little gold box. Look at that. I'm going to pick out a question. I'm going to try and answer it. First question is, this one is, we saw your arrival at the airport and Nancy was wearing a special Wings jacket. Can you tell us about the jacket? Yeah. The jacket it's a vintage Wings jacket from, I think it's from the 70s, and it's a genuine one, which she was given as a gift. And she said, you know what? When we go to Tokyo, I'm going to wear that jacket. So that's it. It's a special vintage Wings jacket from Japan. Okay, next question is from Tetsuya. Tetsuya says, did you take part in the remix of Sgt. Pepper's 50th anniversary edition? And are there any new discoveries after listening to it again? Which is your favorite remix? Well, yeah, I did take part in it. Most of the work was done by Giles Martin, George Martin's son, and his team, who do all the work. And it's a really good mix. I really like it. And I come at the end and I kind of listen to it and I say, no, 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 yeah. I mainly just said yeah, because it really was just so good. I was very happy. Any new discoveries after listening to it again? Yeah, the thing is, it's very clear. So, whereas the old mix, it was just a sort of general mix. This time, you can hear every little instrument. And it was quite surprising to hear, oh, I've forgotten we did that. But favorite remix, I don't know. The whole thing's my favorite. I like it all. So check it out. Sgt. Pepper. Wow. Was it really 50 years ago today? Can't be true. Okay. Kayesuke. Kayesuke. Which song has your favorite bass line? Okay, so Kayesuke. So I think probably my favorite bass line is Mr. Kite, Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, because it's complicated. It's kind of difficult bass line, and what's really difficult is to sing it and play the bass at the same time, because your head goes that way and your fingers go that way. It's really sort of strange combination to do it, but it's a melodic bass line, and I like it. So that's the answer to your question. Probably Mr. Kite. Here we go. And who's next from the gold box? Well, it's a little green card with Dieske, who says, I'm going to Liverpool this year. Please recommend a place to visit. My house. Go to my house and see where I used to live when I was a little boy, aged 15 or so. It's an interesting place. There are many interesting places in Liverpool. You should go to the Cavern. You should go to John's house. You should go to my house. But when you get to Liverpool, they will tell you the places to visit. And the people of Liverpool are great. They will love you and you will love them. So I would recommend a place to visit, my house. 20 Forthland Road in Allerton. Remember that address in case you get lost. Right. Urie. Okay, Urie. Where would you recommend to go in the UK? Liverpool. I just told you. I'd like to go somewhere with beautiful scenery or great food. Okay, maybe not Liverpool. No, Liverpool is a great place, and there is some areas with beautiful scenery, and they do great chips. But seriously, somewhere in the UK with beautiful scenery, anywhere in the countryside, one great place is the Lake District, which has beautiful lakes, beautiful mountains, really nice scenery. So that's worth going. And there are some places there, some hotels that have really good food. So I would recommend Uriye. I would recommend the Lake District. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Right. Next out of the gold box, Mackie. Mackie. Okay. So how do you usually listen to music at home? Analog record player or CD player? How many vinyl records and CDs do you own, and how do you store them? Oh, well, okay, so I mainly listen to records at home on CDs. I sometimes listen to them off my phone through iTunes, but I mainly listen on CDs. Mainly what I'm doing is listening to my new music. And I've come from the studio, so I normally just get them to burn a CD for me. So that's often what I'm listening to. Or I listen to new music that somebody puts together for me, and he normally puts that together on a CD. Vinyl records and CDs do you own? I have a lot of vinyl records from the 60s and 70s, mainly from the 60s. And I store them in racks. Lots of vinyl, and I recently got a cleaner, a vinyl record cleaner, which is very good because I have a couple of old turntables and I have these old records, but they were pretty dirty. So I have this special cleaner that you can use, which is great. Isn't this fun? Okay, so there you go. Mackie! All right, Mackie! All right, lad. Come, Ed. Okay, gold box. Give me a question. Hey, Akiko. You always have bonus material on your archive reissues, but have you kept these yourself? How have you kept them? I've kept them in my pocket. Bonus material. In fact, here's a bit coming out now. Bonus material. Okay, no, I'm just joking. We have bonus material. I keep them at the studio. Bonus material is normally songs that didn't get released. And so we might have an old song that I was making and I didn't really think it was good enough at the time. But after the years, it sounds pretty fresh. And so that's kind of good to put it on an archive reissue. And yeah, we've kept these at the recording studio. That's the answer to that. Akiko. All right. Next question, please. Now, what I'm going to do here, just to show you, this is very fair, like the National Lottery. We're going to shuffle a few. Come on. All right. Coming off the top, you go back. Konomi. Like economy. Economy. Right, economy's question. I'll get serious now. Economy. Do you have a special motto, an important phrase, or words you live by? When I was in school, I studied a bit of Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, and one of the lines I liked out of Hamlet was, "To thine own self be true." So that's always been kind of my motto, be true to yourself. And it's always a very good motto, you know, don't listen to what other people say too much, listen to what you think. So I would say my special motto, Konomi, is to thine own self be true. William Shakespeare, good writer. Rio says, please tells us, that should be tell us, Rio. Just a little grammatical point there. Please tells us about the new album you're working on. Who are you working with and what kind of songs are being made? Any stories you can share with us will be much appreciated. Okay, so I'm working with my band sometimes. and I'm working with, sometimes I just do stuff myself. The producer I'm working with is a guy called Greg Kirsten, who's a great guy and very good producer, who's actually got very famous now because he got Producer of the Year through working with Adele. But he worked with Beck, and he's worked with a lot of people. And I worked with him a couple of years ago, and since then he's got very famous. So I like to say I started that boy. Anyway, so that's the new album is new songs of mine, working, as I say, with Greg. And it's difficult to say what kind of songs. They're just my new songs. You'll have to just listen to them when they come out. Hope you like them. Any stories you can share with us will be much appreciated. Yeah, well, really, the stories are we went to LA. We've recorded a lot in LA. I recorded some in my home studio, but we've also done most of the work in a studio in LA called Henson Studios, which is originally was a film studio where Charlie Chaplin worked, the old famous guy from the black and white movies. It was his studio, then it was taken over by the people who owned the Muppets, Jim Henson, so it's called Henson Studios. And that's it. Was that an interesting story? I hope so. Da-da-da. I got friends of mine talking out in the corridor there. Right. Okay, get serious. Huey. Huey. Hey, Huey. Sounds like a Liverpool name, that does. I'm going to get married in Liverpool next year. Could be a Liverpool name. My boyfriend and I are talking about our first dance. I really want to use one of your songs, but it's too hard to pick just one as I love them all. Thank you, Huey. Which song would you choose if you were me? I would choose My Valentine. It's a song I wrote for Nancy, and I think that would be appropriate for a first dance. Be easy to dance to. It's a nice melody, and it has a lot of meaning for me, and I hope for you too. Okay, Huey? You know, if there's a guy in Liverpool called Hugh, he gets called Huey. Hey, Huey. Okay, and this is Yuko. Did you ever ask Stella for fashion advice? Yeah, I do. I will talk to her, and sometimes the suits I wear on stage are made by a tailor that makes her stuff. So she gives me advice. I don't take it, of course, because she's just my daughter. Why would I take my daughter's advice? Oh, yeah, because she's a brilliant fashion designer. Yeah, I do. I do listen to her, and she is very clever and does give me good advice. So some of the stuff I wear on stage is made by Stella's tailor. She didn't necessarily design it. I probably designed most of it myself with the tailor. But okay, Meccan. Not Megan. Oh, Megan? Oh, that's very Welsh. Okay, what's your favourite song you've ever written? Which song holds the most memories and why? I get asked that question a lot, and it is very difficult to choose one song because you always think of them like your babies, like your children, and you don't want to choose one. But because I get asked that a lot, I always do choose Here, There and Everywhere, because I think it's quite a good song, and I was pleased with it when I wrote it. And one memory is we were filming the film Help, and I was in a cabin in our room after being skiing in Austria, and John and I were listening to our album, and Here, There and Everywhere came on. I remember John saying, you know, that's probably my favorite song of yours. So that was a good compliment, and I always remember that. So yeah, that's probably my favorite too. Here, There and Everywhere. Okay, here's a very unusual name, John. Ha! This is a very good segue. You'd think this was set up, wouldn't you? But it isn't. Hey, John. John says, I loved the Flowers in the Dirt Deluxe Edition. Will you play any songs from the new album? Oh, sorry. Will you play any songs from the album during this tour? What's the new Deluxe Edition reissue going to be? Will we play any from Flowers in the Dirt? We are planning to, but we haven't actually rehearsed them yet. And it always depends. If we rehearse them and we like the way it sounds, then we'll do them. But we have got a couple of thoughts to do some songs off Flowers in the Dirt. The only trouble is, which songs do we knock out of the current set to do them? That's always the difficulty. Well, we'll see. And what's the next deluxe edition going to be? I don't know. Who knows? Okay? I don't know. They don't tell me. No, I don't know. Okay, Mika. Hey, Mika. What's the most memorable story of your time with George Martin? Whew. That's a difficult question because there are so many great memories. I suppose my best memories are when he and I were doing arrangements together for one of my songs, and I would go around to his house and I would play him my song and we would work it out together, and he would show me what he thought the arrangement should be and he would write it down on a manuscript. So, for instance, one great memory is taking around my song Yesterday. So I took it to him and said, okay, these are the chords, G, F sharp minor 7th, etc. And I played the chords to him and he took them down. And then he said, well, as we're going to have a string quartet, that was the reason I was around there, to do the string quartet arrangement. He said, this is how you would voice these chords. This is how you would spread them out for a string quartet. So instead of my little rock and roll chords, he took the lowest note and put it down where the cello would be, then the next note where the viola would be, the next note where the second violin would be, and then the top note where the first violin would be. And it was great. It was great fun because he was a fun guy. And it was also very educational for me because I was learning about string voicing and just being around at his house and hanging out with him intimately doing this work was a great thing, a great memory. Okay, Shizuke. And this question is, which artists do you like currently? I like Van Gogh. I like Matisse. I'm just kidding. You mean musical artists. Well, who do I like currently? I like a band called the Dirty Projectors, who are a new band, and one of their songs is a favorite of mine. I like people like, I like Kanye. I like what he does. I like a bunch of them. I like a bunch. So those would do for the immediate ones. Who else? Ariana Grande. I like her. There are lots of them I like. As you can see, I don't always necessarily remember their names. All right. This has to be the last question now. And it's about the Budokan. So that's very appropriate as I'm sitting in my dressing room at the Budokan. Konnichiwa. Konbanwa. Osh. This is for Robohan, who is a robot. A little robot, and they've called him Robohan. Very nice. I will do your work. Robohan, no, it's his real person, I think. He rode a bicycle and visited Budokan the day after your... No, let me be serious here for Robohan. You rode a bicycle and visited Budokan the day after your show in 2015. Are there any other venues you've revisited the day after? Why did you go back to the Budokan again? Budokan is a very special place for Japanese fans. Please make the set list of Budokan very special so we can have wonderful memories. Okay, let's start there. We are going to make the special set list for Budokan this time. We're playing some songs that we have not played at the Budokan ever before. And we are making the light show spectacular. So there will be, I think it will be a good show, so I hope you can have some wonderful memories. Why did I go back to the Budokan? I'll tell you why, because I was riding my bicycle around Tokyo and we were going around the Emperor's Palace and we suddenly realized this was the way to the Budokan. So we just, on a whim, we just decided, let's go. Let us go. So we took our bikes over, parked them, and it was great because there were people loading in the show for the next day, I think. So the door was open. So we just crept in, we sneaked in, and we just sat up at the top, watching people set up a show. And it was interesting because I don't normally get time to watch my people set up my show. So it was interesting. And it was good to feel the Budokan from a different perspective and not just like I'm playing here tonight. So that was it. I don't think I've ever revisited any other venues the day after, so the Budokan is very special. And thank you, Robahan, for your robotic question. I thank you very much. I sign off. Good night, goodbye. Signing off from Vine. This is Paul, Android. Goodbye. 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 Switch off.